the founder and CEO at Herzu. So at Herzu, we've always tried to build a strong community for women, where we have been trying to educate women on different menstrual health issues, and for that we've been recording some videos from Atika Asifa, right? So you must have gone through these videos on our Instagram handle. So today we have Atika Asifa face to face with us. She has flown down from Australia for us. So today we are recording our first podcast with us. To again give a quick introduction about Atika. She is a clinical nutritionist and lifestyle coach. She has tremendous experience, about a decade of experience in reversing PCOD, PCOS, diabetes, weight loss. So a lot of these things, and today we're going to put across some questions to her on menstrual health issues, and she's going to answer all of them for us. So let's have this first podcast with Atika Asifa.
Thank you so much, Anupama, for this awesome and wonderful introduction. So yes, we have been doing and we have been recording few of the videos related to women health and well-being, and it was all initiated by Anupama. I'm so glad that I get into touch with her, and I'm super excited to be the part of the first podcast, and I'm glad that I'm here, and we both will try to educate women about their menstrual health and how it works, what are the diets that impacts women health, because this is something which is hardly touched upon, and we'll touch base a few of the things, and definitely this podcast is going to be very educative for all the females out there who have got a lot of health issues and they are not aware of what is happening inside their body. So we will try and focus we'll touch base few of the points related to menstrual health.
Thank you, Atika. So I think that was a wonderful introduction again from
Thank
your
you.
side. So, before we can jump on with the questions, right? So I wanted to understand, because, we all women go through this cycle, right?
Yeah.
But I think most of us are not really aware of how the entire cycle looks like.
Absolutely,
If
yeah.
you can just throw a little light on how the entire cycle looks like,
Yeah.
that will probably give some insights to our audience here.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful way to start off with this podcast. So I would definitely would like to, touch base a few of the points, like how does our menstrual cycle work? So basically it is a 1 to 28 state, and first 1 to 5 days are menstrual phase. So this phase is a little, irritating for female, wherein both estrogen and progesterone are on its lowest level. And at that point of time, female may feel very tired, very fatigued. So in that case, it's recommended that if they feel tired or fatigued, they should, take rest. And when it comes to food, they should be taking, warm and flowy food like soups, stews, khichdi for that matter, anti-inflammatory food, because that is the time when the inflammation is at its peak. So anti-inflammatory food like omega-3, fatty fish, flax seeds, walnuts. These are the few foods that women should be incorporating in first 5 days of that phase, which is called menstrual phase. Now the second phase is called follicular phase, and that phase starts from 6 days of your cycle till and it lasts till 12 days of your cycle. Now this phase is something wherein female they feel very energetic because the estrogen level rises, and that is the reason they feel very energetic. Their facial structure changes, their skin starts to glow, and that is the time you should be taking your meetings and stuff, because you are more energetic and your brain starts working in a positive manner. At that point of time, females should be incorporating, fresh fruit, vegetables. They should be having fermented food for that matter, because, fermented food enhances the bacterial growth inside the gut, and that eventually increases the estrogen level in our body. So that is the time you should be incorporating more of fermented food, like dahi. In our Indian culture, we all have dahi in that, for that matter, idli, dosa. Coming back to the third phase, which is ovulatory phase. Here what happens, the egg is completely mature, and this is the time your both estrogen and progesterone is a little high. So that is the phase wherein you should be eating more of magnesium rich food, zinc rich food, like selenium. And at the same time you should be eating pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. These are very good seeds to incorporate at that point of time. Also, this is the phase wherein your skin is again in a glowing stage. And the last phase is the luteal phase, which actually lasts from 18 day to 28 days, and that is the most annoying phase for a female. So in that case, in those particular phase, the progesterone is at its peak, and when progesterone is at peak, you will have insulin, high level of insulin, and at that point of time, females should be eating carb-rich meal and should not refrain from eating good homemade healthy food. If you crave for something sweet, you should go for it. Do not hesitate in eating all those rich carb meals, because that is what the body requires. But at the same time, I would say don't go for junk, because again, that will create a havoc in your body. The last phase is something wherein your skin is a little oily, prone to tanning and stuff like that. So this is the entire phase, first to 28 days of your cycle, wherein your hormone goes up and down, and that is how your takes place inside your body. And this is the beauty of a female body, that we have been blessed with these kind of hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, which is a kind of boon for us to reproduce, and is a boon to save our health as well.
I think I can very well relate to it now because we spoke about the luteal phase, right?
Yeah.
That is where the skin is oily, and probably that is the reason for getting the acne, right? And I think even I crave for carbs, sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah.
During that time, I think now I can kind of relate to it very well.
Right, right.
Thank you, Atika. That was very insightful. I'm sure our audience is going to have fun today because they're going to get a lot of answers to their questions. So I'll just move on to some of the questions that we've collected from some of the girls, in our vicinity, and what problems they face during their menstrual phases. Yeah. So one of the questions that I received was, some females, I think Chero, she gets fever during, just before her periods start, right? So we want to understand, why does this really happen? I mean, why fever? I mean, what's the cause of that?
See, as I mentioned in the beginning, that luteal phase is one of the most annoying phase. So that is the time wherein your progesterone is a little high, and that kind of creates, the production of prostaglandin. Because you have a lot of inflammation in your body, to refrain body from getting sick, prostaglandin, and your body comes into a defense mechanism, and that is why you feel a little feverish during a period. If it is like somewhere like 2 degree or 3 degree rise above your normal body temperature, that's absolutely fine. But again, if you have high fever, and if you have the episode of having high fever, then I think you should see a doctor in that case. Yes.
Thank you so much. Jerry, we got the answer now?
Yes.
Moving on to the next one. I mean, in my case also, I have very heavy flow. There's my sister who again has a standing flow, right? And some women, again, they complain about, some women complain about having heavy flow, some about normal flow. So we want to really understand what is normal. I mean, is it okay to have heavy flows, or when is it the time that we should see the doctor?
Right, very good question. I would say, Anupama, it's really a question of the hour, I would say, because mostly we are not aware what is the actual flow, and the right kind of flow that we have. See, every individual is different. Your body will be different, and mine will be different. But technically, 5 to 6 pads in a day is fine. But if you're using more pads, and if you have if you're using 2 tampons or 2 pads in an hour, that means you have a lot of heavy flow. That is the time I think you should see a gynecologist. But if you are using 5 to 6 pads in a day for first 2 or 3 days, that's absolutely fine.
Okay. So thank you for the answer again, Atika. So moving on to the other one, again, I mean, I've not faced it in my case, but there are some women who complain about having breast pain during their periods, right? Their breasts feel heavy, they have pain in the nipples. This is quite alarming for me to hear this from some of the women. But again, is it so? And if it is so, I mean, why is it so?
Yeah.
How do we really?
Actually, this is only because of your, hormones that comes into picture, and because of the elevated progesterone level, your breast become tender, you have pain in your breast, and that is that is the only cause of breast pain. And there are female who faces this issues of breast tenderness during their first trimester of their pregnancy, and that is only because of the high level of progesterone. So that is for some that is okay. Some women might face this, some might not have. As you said, you did not have faced this ever. But there are female who faces this because, as I told you, every individual is different. So how your body takes this is will be different for every female. So in that case, if you have really very tender breast or it's like unbearable, then in that case you should see the gynecologist. Otherwise, a small tenderness here and there, and if it is like the pain is bearable, then it's fine. It's quite normal during the period. So that's
But
fine.
some women do complain that they have maybe we can call it a bearable pain, not really very bad. But again, is there anything that we can do to
Absolutely. So yeah, that food plays an important role when it comes to managing hormones. So during your first to 15 days of your cycle, you should be incorporating two beautiful seeds, which is flax seeds and pumpkin seeds, and the rest, 16 to 28 days of your cycle, you should be having sesame seed and sunflower seeds. So these combination of seeds have different micronutrients which supports your hormone balances. So this is one thing I would say. If you have all these PMS, so premenstrual syndrome, in that case, you should be incorporating these seeds in your day-to-day life, because this has been proven scientifically that they have done wonders on women who have serious PMS issues. Also, if you are suffering from PCOS and PCOD or some kind of hormonal imbalances, these incorporation have proven to be very, very beneficial. So I've had clients who have had a lot of health issues with these, and just by incorporating some of the functional food, like I mentioned in the beginning, that you should be incorporating fermented food in your menstrual phase. Then you should be eating fresh veggies and vegetables and fruits in the second phase of your cycle, and the third phase and the fourth phase should be having raw, good anti-inflammatory food. So these are a few big changes. If you do these, I'm sure female will not have these PMS issues like tender breast or heavy bleeding. These all will be taken care of, because these are just the signs that your body is showing that hey, I'm not good from within. I need some nutrient. So if you provide good amount of food and nutrient to your body will definitely start working in a normal way.
Okay, so I think that we have this last one more question.
Oh yes,
For you.
please.
So again, some people face constipation during their menstrual cycle. Some complain about loose motion. So I feel constipated in my periods. It's not really that severe, but I've seen that some people have real severe constipation during the menstrual phases, and some even complain about loose motion.
Yeah.
So again, what are the causes for that? What is the food that we should be taking?
Again, one more hormone that is to be blamed for this is progesterone. So when progesterone is high, you are in your luteal phase, and that is the time your uterine wall thickens. So that thickening kind of disturbs the bowel movement. So some female may face constipation, some might have loose motion. But if it is something which is like right from the day one when you have menarche, that's absolutely fine. But if it is like unbearable, it's like very chronic constipation during your periods, or extremely bad with the motion, then in that case you should see a doctor. Otherwise, incorporating fibrous rich food, fermented food, these cycles that I've mentioned, definitely these symptoms will be taken care of. And these, again, all these symptoms that you have spoken about so far is all related to PMS, so which is premenstrual syndrome. And this is quite common nowadays because of the lifestyle that we have, the kind of food that we eat, the kind of the junk food that we incorporate in our life. It has become a part of our life, which has actually created a havoc in our body. So I would say if you incorporate a good habit in your life, if you correct your lifestyle, eating fresh, local, homemade food, These are all going to benefit your menstrual health. And at the same time, I would say it has been recently proven, and there is a lot of research that when you exercise, that kind of does wonder to your gut, and it acts as a probiotic because there is mortality in the muscles, and that acts as a probiotic that enhances the good bacteria in your body. So exercising, correcting your life, please focus on your sleep patterns, eating fresh, local, healthy. If you incorporate these, holistic approach, if you look into this holistic approach, I'm sure these symptoms that we have spoken from the beginning of the podcast, it's going to benefit all of us. And I'm glad that we have put this across, and I am sure that most of the female will be benefited out of it. And yes, so we should focus more on to correcting our lifestyle and doing it holistically. Correcting lifestyle doesn't mean that it should be eating only healthy. No, you should be exercising. You should be sleeping on time. You should have a proper sleep, because if you're sleep deprived, your cortisol will be high. And again, we say that the raw material for cortisol and progesterone are the same. So if your body is under a lot of stress, your body will prefer making cortisol and will not make progesterone. That will create, again, an imbalance in your hormones. You will have missed period, and a lot of health issues will take place. So yes, managing stress, exercising, eating good food, eating healthy is what I would recommend that one should be doing.
So thank you so much, Atika.
My pleasure.
This session was definitely very insightful for all of us and for all the women who are watching us right now. I think it all boils down to having the right lifestyle, doing exercise, having right nutrition, nutritious food, the balanced diet. So I think we all have to kind of focus on what we are eating on a daily basis. So that will definitely help us in the overall menstrual cycle. So I think we concluded with this today, and we'll have more podcasts coming in soon. So stay tuned for that. So we'll definitely be coming up with a lot of good topics, so which will be insightful and which will be educative. So thank you so much for listening to us today. Thank you.
Thank you.